This is Caleb. Welcome to another episode of Inside IALR. This is our third episode so far. I want to also give a shout out to Daniel, our producer, who will also be sharing some news with you all today. So far, we've highlighted sort of an overview of what the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research is, what we do on a big picture. That was our first episode with Telly Tucker. Then we talked with Julie Brown, our Vice President for Advanced Learning. And today we're here to talk about manufacturing advancement, which is one of our newest divisions. It's our one of our 5 divisions or focus areas, and really has a lot of programs, a lot of facilities, and is growing very fast to provide important services both for workforce development and for helping companies that are either already here in the region or are interested in locating here. So I'm here with our Executive Vice President of Manufacturing Advancement, Todd Yeatts. Todd, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Caleb.
So first, Todd, if you wouldn't mind, if you just kind of want to give us a little bit of overview about yourself, but then also, just a quick overview of, big picture, what does the Manufacturing Advancement Division do?
Sure. First and foremost, I'm very excited to be back in Danville. I'm a native graduate of George Washington High School, been back and forth to Danville a couple times in my life, but about 20 years ago, I had the opportunity to serve as the assistant city manager here in Danville and was part of the process that actually started the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, was here for the groundbreaking, and just being able to come back, it's full circle being able to be here and see all the great work that's happening. Just prior to coming here, I was with the Boeing company, and I retired from there in October of last year. So, roughly 9 months have been here, and, extremely excited about what's happening.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, you're over all of manufacturing advancement, which I know there's a lot of different parts to that. But, sort of big picture, what are some of the big things that you guys focus on?
Well, certainly, the biggest part of manufacturing advancement is in the name itself. It's advancing manufacturing. It's being that resource that can help companies get to the next level in manufacturing. But more in the weeds, what we do here is we provide training opportunities as well as other resources for manufacturing companies. Obviously the biggest program that we have that's getting the most attention right now, accelerated training in defense manufacturing, the 16-week program to train workers to join that submarine industrial base or the defense industrial base. And we'll probably talk a little bit later about some of the specific areas of ATDM. But in addition to ATDM, some of our other programs that are just as key, integrated machining technology, which is the integrated machining technology is the third year of machining. So you take that individual that has that 2 years of community college experience or appropriate work experience, and it gives them the Lean, the Six Sigma, the other skills necessary to go from actually just working on the machine to actually running that shop floor. So that's pretty exciting. And then, of course, the Gene Haas Technical Education Center, a train the trainer facility for all the Haas manufacturing training that takes place throughout the United States. We're extremely excited about that. And then we have our partnership through the Defense Manufacturing Community Support Program with Old Dominion and Patrick Henry, which is so key for that engineering technology major that'll be coming online very soon. And then in addition to all of those, we have the Center for Manufacturing Advancement and the Navy's Additive Manufacturing Center of Excellence. So a lot of things happening, a lot of growth, and a lot of opportunities out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You mentioned the Center for Manufacturing Advancement. I want us to get, go in depth, about what that is, what that facility is already accomplishing and what impact that's going to make on Southern Virginia and beyond. But, you mentioned a lot of these other programs that I want us to touch on too. But before we get to all of that, I think it's important that we touch on, why we do this work. So, as I mentioned earlier, this Manufacturing Advancement Division was established in 2018. And as you just outlined, there are already a lot of different components to that, largely centered around workforce development, training, trying to prepare workers, but then also trying to help companies in other ways as well, as you said. But big picture, why do we have a Manufacturing Advancement Division, and how does that contribute to our mission of catalyzing economic transformation?
Well, a lot of your listeners are already aware, but roughly 20 years ago, there was a loss of textile and tobacco jobs here. And as a result of that loss, one of the opportunities the community had was through the master settlement agreement with the Tobacco Commission. And so the Tobacco Commission was formed, and Danville and Pittsylvania County received funding from the commission. Well, it was certainly a great look ahead and some forethought that went into it, but the city and the county combined resources to build the institute. And so the facility that we're in here at the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research was a partnership between Danville and Pittsylvania County as they securitized the funds from that really allows us to do what we do today. So 20 years later, you can kind of see the fruits of those labors, and you see that we truly are part of the economic transformation. And I think that there's no better example of that than the Center for Manufacturing Advancement and what we're doing to move this area forward, capitalizing upon all the gains that have been made for the last 20 years.
That history that you just outlined is very important. That it's obviously both, where the Institute originated, as you said, but that also contributes to the work that you all do now. Do you want to talk a little bit about, I guess, how much technology, like how manufacturing is changing and how there's a lot of technology involved and how you all contribute to helping?
Sure. One of the important parts to remember about manufacturing advancement is that we are looking at industry trends, but the industry has changed. Manufacturing today is not what it was 20 years ago, and certainly not what it was even 40 years ago. The manufacturing today is a much more sophisticated program. No longer is it a dark, dingy factory. These are high-tech jobs. These are skilled jobs that require that training. Very few people can just walk right out of high school or walk off the street into a manufacturing facility because it is specialized training in the machines. So what we offer here is a variety of programs that takes all those skill levels from the novice or beginner all the way through those that have 2 years of associate degree work. And I think that the key for all of it is the pipeline approach that the Institute has. And it's not just manufacturing advancement. All of it plays together from what advanced learning does in GoTech in the middle schools to the dual enrollment programs in the high schools, as well as the local community college, the Danville Community College, which has a legacy of machining. That all allows us to capitalize on that. And that's really, truly the pipeline that allows manufacturing, as we know it today, this advanced manufacturing, to not only exist, but to thrive here in Danville.
I'm glad you mentioned that pipeline and that idea of, you're not just hitting that pipeline at one point. We have programs and things that target people of every skill level, as you said. So let's walk through that in a little bit more detail. So for that talent pipeline, you mentioned starting in middle school. Walk us through the different programs from middle school all the way through even college, and how the manufacturing advancement division contributes to those.
Well, I think first and foremost, it's not a one-shot pony, in that when you look at it, you have to look at it holistically. You look at it as what the Institute's doing in partnership, because the key is the partnerships, and those partnerships do begin in that middle school. It's the exposure that the young people have that actually puts manufacturing on their radar scope as a potential career. And so it's so important that the experience is a positive one, from the virtual welding to the 3D printing that the young people are exposed to, and then they can continue that working with those dual enrollment programs in high school. And I think that that's where the Institute plays such a great part. It's an integrator for all the different systems to ensure the consistency. And it's not just Danville, Pittsylvania County. It's the integration starts throughout Southern Virginia through the GoTech program. But here at home, I think where it really gives us an opportunity is to showcase to those younger people the stuff that we're doing, and we'll talk about it later, but certainly at the CMA, the Industry 4.0 lab at the CMA is going to be such a key part of having young people come in, be exposed to it, but to actually see it in place, and not just a video, not just in a virtual world, but the reality just behind the glass. There's a robot that's part of that manufacturing process.
As you mentioned, this is, starting in middle school with that idea of, it's exposure. It's not, that they're going to make a career decision right then, but that at least they're seeing the possibilities and how to get to those possibilities. Earlier, you mentioned the Accelerated Training in Defense Manufacturing program. Let's take a minute and just give us an overview of, what that program is. I know, as you said, it's growing very fast and getting a lot of attention, but talk, what is that program and what kind of impact is that making?
Certainly. In the Accelerated Training in Defense Manufacturing, it's really important to note that the Navy chose Danville for that program. It could have chosen anywhere, but it chose Danville specifically because of what you mentioned earlier and what we've been talking about, that pipeline approach.
Mm-hmm.
The workforce was already here. You couldn't recreate that. So the work that's been done over the many years to get to this point led ATDM to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And ATDM basically is training those workers in the much needed submarine industrial base, defense industrial base, because manufacturing truly is needed there. In order for the Navy to reach its goal of building 2 Virginia-class and 1 Columbia-class submarine a year, they realized that the most significant shortfall is that workforce. And you can't start that workforce at zero. You have to start it with that pipeline. Danville had the pipeline. Danville certainly has the manufacturing background to make it happen. But ATDM is here, and it's basically 5 tracks of training. The curriculum is welding, machining, additive manufacturing, non-destructive testing, and metrology. So those 5 tracks of curriculum, again, 16 weeks long, 600 hours of instruction, and we run staggered courses. So we have a 2-month graduation cycle. So every 2 months we have a completion. And what that is, that's a direct result of industry feedback. And again, it's the collaboration and the partnership with industry that makes this program successful. We take our cues from industry. So instead of just hiring at the end of a normal graduation cycle in May or June, and then possibly a December graduation, every 2 months we have a workforce trained and ready for those skilled jobs that are out there.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think, for those who don't know, I mean, the ATDM program is as you mentioned, 4 months with those staggered shifts. It's free for the participants. I think that's a big deal, is that these adult learners with little to no experience in these areas get to go through and within 4 months have an excellent manufacturing career right before them.
And certainly, so basically the requirements are a high school diploma or a GED, but more importantly, it's that desire to get that career and to be part of something bigger than yourself within that defense industrial base, submarine industrial base. But I think that one of the keys to the program is the fact that it does offer that opportunity. And one of the key features of it, it provides housing in addition to the scholarship for the program. And then the other most important thing, it's not just training, it's everything from recruitment to wraparound support to the training, and most importantly, the placement into the industry. We work with companies across the United States. We've recruited individuals from more than 26 states nationwide, including Hawaii. We've placed individuals in 21 states, as well as an individual working in Guam and Australia. So I think you'll see that this program does have that national and international impact, and it certainly has the attention both nationally and internationally.
But then also, it's having an impact locally too. I just helped, write a story about some of these students. And there was a lady from right here in Danville, Pennsylvania County, who just decided she wanted to change careers and learn welding.
Yeah, and that's certainly the beauty of the program. This program allows individuals in the region to take advantage of it, and again, nationally, but not just the individuals, but the companies. One of our biggest partners has been BWX Technologies in Lynchburg, Virginia, that not only have hired students that go through the program, but have actually sent workers for upskilling. So that's one of the other aspects, is we do partner with industries to make sure that the companies can get the upskilling need, because every worker that's upskilled creates an entry-level position for the next student.
Right. No, absolutely. And I know you guys are, that program is growing fast. It's supposed to graduate 800 to 1,000 students by 2025. And I know you all are hiring a lot of positions right now to help support that growth.
Yeah, certainly. We have more than 20 positions that we're hiring for right now, and the hiring will continue as the ramp continues. We're looking really forward to breaking ground very soon and having steel coming out of the ground for the new regional training center that will house the ATDM program. Currently we're in a bridge solution. We're 100% here at the Institute, still partnering with the community college, but all the student training takes place here at the Institute. But right now, we can't ramp to that 800 to 1,000 in our current configuration. So once the regional training center comes online next year, we'll be able to hit those numbers that we're reaching out for.
Right. No, absolutely. Well, let's take a quick break. So we've talked about a lot about the ATDM program. I think I'll have Dr. Holly on here and very soon to talk more in depth about the ATDM program. And I know there's a lot of other programs that you all offer that we could talk more in depth about. As you mentioned the IMT program. There's the bachelor's degree that's coming with Old Dominion University, where we're a satellite campus. But really what I wanted to get more in depth with today is the Center for Manufacturing Advancement, which we've talked some about. But tell me a little bit more just about the facility, what's in it, sort of the vision behind it.
Well, the Center for Manufacturing Advancement, first and foremost, is a continuation of our rapid launch concept. There's 5 high bays located in the facility. Roughly 53,000 square feet of it comprises the Manufacturing Advancement Center. But inside the 5 high bays, 4 of the high bays are currently assigned to the Additive Manufacturing Center of Excellence. It was designated that by the United States Navy. It is their only center of excellence for additive manufacturing. The additional parts of the CMA that we have an Industry 4.0 lab that will be an automated factory, like a little mini factory that will have robotics automation that will actually be churning out parts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that'll be not only a showcase, but it'll be a place for innovation as well, so that concepts could be tested there and advancements can be done there without a disruption. And the same goes for some of our other bays that will allow local industry to bring in to test a proof of concept type of operation, to bring a machinery, to calibrate a machine, to just learn the process without disrupting their line. And so I think that that's going to be important. But as for the Additive Manufacturing Center of Excellence, one of the things that the primary purpose will be to produce technical data packages. And that technical data package is kind of a recipe or a formula of how to do a part, that if you utilize this 3D printer using this base product, it will produce this part if you follow this process, which will then be in turn accepted by the Navy to be a part on a submarine. So that's going to be, that's a very oversimplification of what they do, but you can imagine that 3D part now can replace a part that was cast or forged traditionally, which cuts down really long lead times and allows for a more efficient operation so the Navy can ramp to that 2 Virginia class and 1 Columbia class submarine each year.
That's a very good explanation you just gave, that basically they're making the recipes for how other facilities will continue to manufacture these parts. You mentioned the Industry 4.0 lab. I just want to circle back to that because I've been doing some research and digging into that and talking with Butch, who's on our staff here, and over a lot of that. For those who don't know, or for just a very general simple explanation, basically this lab, it's which Butch is still building, but basically it will be with 3 robots and several other manufacturing machines working together, we'll be able to produce parts. Take a raw piece of material and convert it into a finished product that's then packaged and ready to ship, all with just computer controlled robots workflows where they're running around the room moving parts as they need. I shouldn't say running, they're rolling around the room. But it's a very, very innovative and clearly your division is charged with advancing manufacturing industry forward. That seems to very much fall in line with that.
And I think what's really important to note, not only are the robots there, 2 fixed robots that will be a complete part of the process, a mobile robot that will tend the units, but the actual machines themselves are integrated with the robots. So the machine itself calls when it needs to be tended by the mobile robot. The mobile robot goes to remove a finished product and move it over for inspection. So the only human interaction was the programming. There's no one that's actually guiding the robot. The robot knows the process, and it's as needed that it happens. So this is not just a program that runs on a loop. This is as needed. So the full integration is a key part of the Industry 4.0 lab. And I think, again, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's in a facility that will allow visitors to come view without being in the lab, housed in glass, many cameras, many monitors that will allow you to actually watch the process without interrupting the process.
As you mentioned, that this is a place for companies to come and innovate and test processes, and that Industry 4.0 lab will be definitely a big part of that. What are some of the other services offered at the CMA?
Well, one of the key services at the CMA is going to be the metrology lab. It's a state-of-the-art metrology lab that will offer inspection, measurement devices. We partner, again, our partners, Minatoya, Master Gauge and Tool, will operate that facility, which will be available to both industry here as well as our key partners of the Additive Manufacturing Center of Excellence, which is Austal USA, the Prime, the Phillips Corporation, which does the additive and industrial inspection and analysis, which will do a lot of the quality control work, as well as the institute that will handle the machining inside that facility.
Right. So that obviously, I think you said the word partners and just listed a long list of organizations. I think, and you mentioned earlier, this is all done through partnerships, and I think that list you just gave that's not even all the people who have been involved in different parts of this.
Oh, certainly not. And the key to success is the partnerships. The partnerships drive it, and we are very fortunate. Whether our partners at the community college level, as I previously mentioned, the Danville Community College, Patrick and Henry Community College, but also at the higher ed, our 4-year universities that are partners, you play a key point. And then the Navy itself, the different aspects of the U.S. Navy that are partnering with us to make sure this facility's success. The Spectrum Group, which is so key to a lot of the stuff we do as consultants. And then the Phillips Corporation, BWXT, as I mentioned, all the feedback loops that we have so that we continue to refine. And that's whether it's the processes in the Additive Manufacturing Center of Excellence or a program like IMT or ATDM. It's industry feedback that allows us to adjust the curriculum to make sure we're hitting industry needs and that our training remains, the sought after training to put those right people in the right spot.
When I talked with Telly, he talked about how we're sort of a convener and bring organizations together, and that's interesting to see how it's across. It's the public sector and the private sector that we work sort of as a bridge and can bring those together.
I think the Institute is uniquely positioned, particularly here in Southside Virginia, to be that catalyst, to be that convener, to be the one that brings everybody to the table, but also we're in a unique position because we are in a position to help others, and we can connect those with somebody that might have already done the process or somebody that needs the process. So I think that's one of the things we do as well.
Right. No, absolutely. Well, yeah, I think, the CMA, it's as it's opening, as it's being built out. I know it's already open, but as it's being, all of these labs are being built out and the equipment's being installed, and the Industry 4.0 lab, I know that's takes a long time to build and put all those robots together correctly, but it's really cool to see all the innovation happening there, and to think about all the innovation that is going to be drawn to this region because of that facility and because of those programs. And I just wanted to note that the variety in the programs and offerings that you guys have, whether that be working with helping launch a bachelor's degree for manufacturing engineering, or training an adult learner with no previous experience, or helping develop the GoTech curriculum for a middle schooler. There's all different levels of that you all are working on to develop the workforce, but then also have the facilities to help draw companies in, help those companies advance their processes, their ultimately their ability to create quality jobs as well. But I mean, is there anything else about whether it be the CMA or the just manufacturing advancement as a whole that you would want to add, or you think it's important that people know?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is just to be aware that this is an exciting time. Not just for the Institute, not just for the city of Danville, not just for Pennsylvania County, but for the region, the Commonwealth as a whole. What we're doing here impacts the nation's security. What we're doing here is opportunity for our region. It's opportunity for our young people. It's opportunity for our adult learners, as you mentioned. It's an opportunity to truly be that catalyst for economic change. And I think that you see it every day when you're here. And, I really think there's a lot of excitement here. I'm really excited to be back, and I'm probably closer to it than most. But I see the potential. And, we're not talking a dream anymore. This is not 20 years from now, we hope this happens. I mean, we literally make a difference every day. And I think that you see that reflected every 2 months when we graduate someone from the ADDM program, every new class that comes in, but also in our new hires and the excitement that they have to be part of something when they realize what's happening here.
Right. No, absolutely. Well, we're glad to have you here, and I appreciate you being on the podcast today.
Okay. Thank you.
Megabytes, IALR's on-site cafe, features everyday favorites, convenient ordering options, and an eager staff ready to welcome and serve you. Our enticing menus offer something for everyone, from a fresh, well-stocked salad bar, wraps, sandwiches, and our rotating hot buffet offered on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Megabytes is open Monday through Friday from 9:15 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. To view menus and for more information, visit IALR.org/megabytes.